great ideas can come from really all across the organization. And again, those ideas don't necessarily have to be the big idea. Often they're ideas that are little ideas that help build up and solve problems so that the great idea is wonderful.
What can businesses learn from your entrepreneurial experience?
I think that businesses can learn that one key, very important ingredient to innovation, successful innovation, is to start from a breakthrough idea, but then very importantly, once you have that breakthrough idea and you're on the path towards realizing your vision, your outcome, your new innovation, you're going to encounter all kinds of barriers and unknowns along the way. And I think that one unique thing that entrepreneurs do is they are so focused with their conviction on their ultimate vision that they really focus on breaking through those barriers and finding solutions to them along the way. And that I believe that many businesses along the way might sort of divert or concede in some of these barriers, and then you end up with a suboptimal innovation outcome. So I think the learning from entrepreneurs is that persistence, that focus, that perseverance to get to your ultimate vision, regardless of the barriers that you're going to encounter.
Who or what inspired you to create Shazam?
I was inspired to create Shazam because I saw really sort of three opportunities at the same time. One is this problem that I faced in my daily life of hearing songs out and about everywhere and wondering what they were. And I wanted to sort of find out what they were and add them to my personal little playlist and turn it into sort of a mixtape at the time, or what would now be called a playlist for myself. So that was the obvious opportunity that I think was a problem that plagued many people. Secondly, however, at the time that I came up with the concept for Shazam, which was in late 1999, mobile phones were very basic. They were very simple. And all you could do with mobile phones was to make phone calls and send text messages and really nothing else. And so I thought, gosh, there's got to be something you can do with these mobile phones. You're kind of carrying this device everywhere you go. Wouldn't it be great if you could do other things with it? And so I thought, well, wow, what if you could identify songs? What if that was the unique offering? And what was really neat is the original vision for Shazam was one where you would only need two capabilities of a mobile phone to identify songs. And those were a microphone to record the sound in a phone call and a text message to send the information back to the user. So even though phones back then didn't have apps or websites or anything, they did have those two basic things, the microphone and the text message, so that we could create this music recognition service for those ancient phones. But the third thing that I saw as creating the opportunity for Shazam was that I wanted to use a disruptive technology. And so I loved the idea of building a business based on inventing some brand new, unexpected, very difficult disruptive technology. And it turned out that to do what we wanted to do on music recognition would require such an invention. So it's these three things coming together: solving a problem for consumers, taking advantage of a new trend, and that was the adoption of mobile phones, and then building a business that was reliant on the invention of a very significantly new disruptive technology. Those three things coming together created what I thought was a great opportunity.
How can businesses create a culture that nurtures innovative thinking?
Yeah, I think there's two main components that go into that, to nurturing such a culture. I think one is to really give the entire team, all the participants in the company culture, a sense of what is the purpose on what they're doing. Sort of how is what they're doing sort of an act of service? How is what they're doing going to impact others? That really kind of, when you really connect those dots for people, I think it gives them this feeling of purpose, and they're really tied to having impact on other people in whatever they're doing and what they're creating. So that's one key component, and then the second key component to kind of create this innovative culture is to really empower people, to contribute their ideas, because the reality is that great ideas come from everywhere, not just from the research and development department or the product manager lead or whatever it may be, but the great ideas can come from really all across the organization. And again, those ideas don't necessarily have to be the big idea. Often they're ideas that are little ideas that help build up and solve problems so that the great idea is wonderful and has a wonderful, delightful outcome for the end client or customer. So it's those two things. It's the sort of giving people the sense of purpose or the act of service, and then the second thing is empowering them to contribute and play a role in the ideation and that solving the problems along the way.
What do you hope audiences take away from your public speeches?
I really focus on, I believe strongly that there's these sort of 5, what I call start from zero ways of thinking that can lead to fantastic, magical outcomes for innovation. But what's really interesting is that those 5 ways of thinking are all not the default way that we think. And so, in fact, often when we act within an organization and work towards trying to innovate, we're sort of blocked by the default way that we think. And so what I really like to do is to speak through and teach and explain these 5 different ways of thinking, tying back to stories from my learnings at Shazam, as well as being part of the formative early teams at Google and Dropbox, and really illustrate and show how these disruptive ways of thinking can ultimately lead to amazing outcomes of innovation and magically delighting the end user.